Finally, there's a TV that proves technology can make our lives easier. A Magnavox TV with a precise color picture, smart windows which preview other channels, and the unique smart sound feature, which ensures your volume will stay at normal levels no matter what comes on. Magnavox is so smart, I didn't even have to show up for this commercial. How'd I do?
Great, you were great.
Right. One of the things I really want to talk about is what was the catalyst, or what was that moment, or what was the thing that got me pumped up on cycling. And in order to tell this story or talk about it, we have to go back to late 2014. Is that where we're at? So late 2014, I was about 105 kilos. I was lazy, semi-active guy. I was playing ice hockey. I had been playing soccer, but I generally was doing very little to look after my well-being, my health, my physical health, my dietary health. It was a frustrating sort of time, not necessarily in my life, but from a decisions perspective. My challenges were different, my desires were flat, and I wasn't really pushing myself in any one direction. And I sort of had that pre-Christmas, pre-New Year moment where actually we have to go back even further. So if that was 2014, in 2010, I hit a point in my life where I was married, miserable, directionless, and overweight. I couldn't tell you how heavy I was. I would have been around 100 kilos. You know, I had the 2 kids that were young. My mental state was not good. I wasn't happy. One could say I was pushing, some pretty serious levels of quite possibly, would it be depression? Maybe. Could have been I don't know. I wasn't happy is really the call out here. My mental state was not good. I was feeling lost in the world. In 2010, I set out to lose some weight. I wanted my life back in check, and I wanted to get clarity in my focus of life. What was I doing professionally? How was I going to conquer the world? And what ended up happening is I went, you know what? Let me get fit. I'm mentally not there. My ability to do what I need to do is not there. And so I focused, and I lost 15 kilos in 3 months. And I felt great. It was awesome. I'd never lost so much weight. I never felt so good about myself in all the time in my adult life. And I did this through a combination of running basic workout type stuff in the backyard. I'd found a few programs via Men's Health, and I smashed myself with a caloric management system where I managed all my calorie intake. So across 3 months, I lost 15 kilos, all was well in the world, but my marriage broke down. For the subsequent 5 years after that, I slowly but surely put all that weight plus a little bit more back on. In 5 years, I ballooned back up to 105 kilos. I had moments where I couldn't fit into clothes anymore. I was pretty pissed off about it. I wasn't happy. Back to where we were, zoop! I hit that moment where I said, you know what? In the new year, I gotta fix this. I'm basically back to this mental place where I can't do it. I can't pull myself forward. I'm making a bunch of stupid decisions. I got to get back on this. And I've done it before, and I can do it again. So I set out to do it from a food thing. Let's do a food-based thing in order to lose some weight. And I knew I could shave off, 5 kilos or whatever with just changing my diet. And I was stripping everything out, managing my calorie intake, setting some goals, doing some tracking, and getting on top of it. But I knew that after Christmas, New Year's in 2015, I'd be able to sort it out. So I set out in sort of early January, to do it. And, as the story goes, I simply went at it like an alcoholic and a case of beer. I just couldn't do anything but focus on the weight loss. So I knew I needed to inject some cardio into this mix. I didn't want to get back into running. I don't like running. And I also wasn't interested in running with all that weight. I sort of kind of had this moment where I went, you know what? I used to ride bikes all the time as a kid. I'm going to have to don the Lycra and get out and about, because where I live right now, there's a boatload of places to ride a bike. I had a mate that did road cycle, and I thought, you know what, at least I could buddy up with him, from time to time and ride with them, or maybe get into, as I see so many road cyclists in the area, maybe there's an opportunity to get some motivation by other people. So I got a bike. I got an entry-level bike. There was that first ride when I went out with a buddy of mine. And I still remember this ride because it was one of those things where I wanted to challenge myself. I wanted to get out there. I didn't really know the area. And my buddy said, look, I can take you through Bobbin Head and show you what a ride that I've done through there. And I said, okay, cool. So he picked me up. We went for a ride. Pretty flat, easy enough to kind of go up and down undulating areas. And then we dropped into Bobbin Head, which you drop down into the area, and then you climb out. And it was the climb out that was this sort of cycling epiphany moment. I couldn't get out. I got halfway up the climb. It's just shy of 4Ks. I couldn't get up, but I didn't want to get off the bike, but I wanted to get off the bike. My body, my heart, everything was falling. I was in beyond the red. I was ready to fall out. And my mate sat there next to me, someone who obviously has been cycling for many years, had a great base, patiently watching me struggle myself up this hill. And he said, don't get off the pedals. You've got more gears. Just slow down. Kind of back around to, it's just around this next corner. I've told that story about how my mom used to use that trick on me as a kid. And, he kind of gave me a similar treatment, which, you've got 2 or 3 more corners and then you're up and out of here. So he kept motivating me mentally. I didn't get off the bike. I didn't stop pedaling. I climbed my way out of that. I got home. I was shaking. Kind of parted ways with him. I cycled the rest of the way home, which would have been maybe a kilometer after we broke. I couldn't even get the key into the front door. Finally got the key in, carried my bike upstairs. Couldn't get the key in the front door of my own apartment. Got in, could barely stand. My body was sort of shaky. All I could do was lay down on the floor. And when I laid down on the floor, I burst out laughing because I had this realization that for the first time in my life, I'd actually done something that pushed me to the limits of my capability, that I'd actually just challenged myself so hard that it broke me. And nothing had done that, in work and in life and in general. It was rare where I was pushed so hard that I physically or mentally couldn't cope, but got this big kick. And I'm sure there was an endorphin rush that happened and a number of different things that made me get all giddy and whatnot. But that moment, that transition period, that idea that this is something that could kick my ass that badly, could exist in the world, and all I had to do was motivate myself to go and get it every day, was enough to get junked out, grab the crack rock that's cycling, and run with it. That was in early January 2015, and I've been riding a bike ever since then. In that period of time, consistently riding the bike, I thought I'll use this as a catalyst, plus my caloric stuff, to reduce my weight. I set a goal. There's the Bobbin Head Cycling Classic, which was would be my first 100-kilometer ride, and my aim was lose 15 Ks of weight and complete that race at the end of March. When the end of March rolled around, I was able to, get to the race. On that day, I literally dropped the last kilo. I hit my 15-kilo mark. And I also completed the ride. There was parts of it that I didn't think I could complete. Real steep hill climbs I'd never done before that were short but hard. I thought I was gonna, burst. But I got through that finish line and I felt great. I'd hit this mark, and I had that sort of where to from here moment, what's next for me. But it was about where else can I take this cycling? And I just kept riding and riding and riding and challenging myself to go further, to do a harder ride, to accomplish something more, small goals. And the progress kept coming and I kept getting better and I kept getting stronger on the bike. And those small things that I couldn't do were things that I could do easily. And that's why I got into cycling, because it kicked my ass and it made me actually check myself and push myself further. That's why cycling is something that I prioritize in my life. There are still times where cycling will beat my ass and get the best of me. I've had points where I've hit the wall and had to give up and been mad at myself for it. But all those things culminate into just trying to get up that hill a little bit faster every time. Just trying to feel as though I can hit those corners a bit harder when I do it downhill. Just be able to hold a high watt and get, good normalized power. These things make me feel like I'm having accomplishments. And that's cycling to me. It's a thing I can do in control that gives me a massive benefit. I guess the update of where I've landed with cycling, I've lost 26, maybe even 27 kilos doing this. I've reduced my body fat percentage from somewhere in the likes of about 30%, and I'm sitting around 16%, you know, and I'm maintaining it. You know, the food thing is a dance that I do. I just did a vlog on food. You can grab that somewhere around here. It's hard to know where to point, but that's the vlog 21. Food is a battle that I constantly have, but I feel like I got a handle on it. Fitness was a battle I constantly had. I feel like I got a handle on it. And that's why I talk about cycling, because it actually means something to me. It is something that's changed my life. Always keen to talk about this stuff. Always have plenty of time to answer questions when it comes to, you know, what is the routine? What's an easy routine? What sort of stuff should I be thinking about with my heart, with my power? What sort of gear should I have? You know, I'm an ex-bike mechanic. I know about bikes. I know how to fix bikes. I know what entry level looks like. I know what, you know, the most expensive level looks like. And just so we're all clear, I sit in the middle. I don't have the best gear. I don't have the worst gear. I'm in the middle. You know, I'd love to have a $10,000, $20,000 bike of gear and all that sort of stuff, but you don't need it to ride, and you don't need it to be good or get the benefits that I'm talking about. You just need a bike of moderate quality so you can move forward and make the right decisions and change the way that you're riding. And I hope that you guys find the same sort of meaning when it comes to your cycling as well. Always keen to have chats in the comments. You know, if you like this video, give it a like. You know, I'm trying to grow this YouTube stuff. It's not about making money, but it's about being present and relevant in search. Obviously, you need the likes and the subscribes to do that sort of stuff. People are getting great about chatting and comment. Really having fun having the chats there. And again, thanks everybody for the sort of defense around the creative criticisms that I recently kind of went through. Really appreciate the support again, and really am enthused by everybody just sort of jumping in. Sweet! That sucked. Is this not up? Oh, man. How to use umbrellas. It's the emoji umbrella. The kids love this one. Ooh, hoo, hoo.